Welcome to Mailbag, the podcast that's hotter than a cup of tea at Goodison Park. I am joined by Warren Doyle, Keith Tomlin and Mike Diasha. We will get straight into the hot topic. For anyone who doesn't know, Warren, I don't know if you're new to this or what, but the hot topics is I ask a question based on a news story or a story from the last week. If you know what that story is, shout out the name of a random Everton player and you just get to answer and tell me what it is. It's all
sound.
There's no point. So, first hot topic, worst ever food combination?
Antolin Alcaraz.
Well, we haven't had him yet.
We haven't. This is about the absolutely shameless social media just advertising thing of Heinz beans on Weetabix, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
As I say, I did find the Specsavers one quite funny though.
Just, it's all
it's all cynically corporate, but
it's all, it's one fella sat in a room replying to each other from different marketing accounts. Just
After seeing the multiple different companies replying, I just thought, nah, I'm not having this. Not for me. This.
Course, isn't it?
It is Ed, yeah.
Ed just sat in his box room, just replying to himself from different accounts.
See, I do have a bit of sympathy with that though, because I actually have done that. I still do that because I run a couple of accounts for work. And it's kind of like, no one talks to me. No one interacts with me, so I'll interact with myself.
Yes.
I've got to push my numbers up somehow, haven't I?
It's true.
God damn, what's the worst ever food combination?
I'm gonna bring it back and be a bit basic here, but pineapple on pizza. Just it's absolutely vile. People that do it are absolute predators. Not a fan at all.
There is really a 50-50 though split between people who like it and people who don't, isn't there? Seems to be.
Which I find insane because it's not something I would say is ever contentious. It's like sandpaper in your genitals. It's not one of them 50-50 things that some people are going to like and some people are going to hate. It's something that everyone should dislike.
I'm with you. I'm not a pineapple on pizza person at all.
I hate the theory completely. I think it's complete and utter pervert behaviour, but I have eaten it when drunk once and I didn't vomit everywhere, so I don't know if it's like, is it okay?
No,
it's not something I'd choose necessarily, but I don't mind it.
Is it a gateway drug into like other sweet unsavoury things?
You'll end up with bloody beans on Weetabix replying to yourself on Twitter at that rate.
I'm just not making me nuts.
When you when this was raised about the weird food combinations, I thought about the time when I was in the States. I used to live in America for a period, and one of the things that they did over there, and I'm going to tell you this, and it's either going to be, oh yeah, I do that, because I was shocked at how many people actually do this, or it's going to be, you're going to all turn your noses up and think it's absolutely vile. So I'm over there once, and Wendy's, which is the famous fast food outlet over there, they actually marketed buying a large milkshake and dipping your fries in the milkshake. Oh. And I was absolutely disgusted by that. And when I told people about it, they were like, a few people I spoke to, oh yeah, it's quite a common thing. I do that. So, don't know. That for me, that was the worst food. I mean, why you would stick your fries in a milkshake, ice cold milkshake, I don't know, but it seems to be very popular.
I don't know. It's one of them things. It's a bit like, it's the salty and the sweet in it, a bit like chocolate and crisps. Because chocolate and crisps is a great combination. Like, you get a dairy milk.
Ham and pineapple, salty and sweet.
No, it's different in it because that's
you're contradicting yourself
no,
here.
No, I haven't because that is different. Because it's the pure salt, isn't it? It's not like, oh, this is a salty thing. It's like, because you get ready salted crisps and a bit of chocolate, salt and sweet.
But don't you think that chocolates and crisps are kind of like the same? It's something you'd have after you've had your tea. You'll have a bag of crisps or you'll have each. I've never thought I'll have fries. They seem too far removed, fries and milkshake.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go for the milkshake while I'm eating my chips. Sometimes you have a drink while you just finish eating.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even do that though. It sounds too weird to me.
I mean, that was the first thing that popped up when this question came about. And as I say, I was just shocked at how many people actually do it. And to hear Mike say, I can actually understand it, shocked me.
No, I can get it. I don't think I'd ever do it, but I can get it. Like, it's not like pineapple on pizza levels of utterly detestable and weird, but it's still quite strange.
Keith?
All I'll say at this point is I have seen someone put ketchup on chip shop curry.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, grim.
You know what I can't get my head around? When people have gravy on fish from the chippy. See, no,
yeah, it shouldn't go with the fish, should it?
No.
Great chips and gravy from the chippy sound.
Brilliant.
But as soon as you introduce a fish into the matter, nah. You can have chips, gravy, and sausage. If you're having having like a jumbo sausage and chips, you can have gravy on it. That sound, not fish.
No, fish and gravy doesn't go. Add some answers to this. Ben Crawford said, a family member of mine eats tuna and banana toasties with mayonnaise. Is that the worst food combo ever? It's got to be up there, hasn't it?
It's pretty grim, that, isn't it? Did you see the one I put
did, yes.
The picture of that big fat slob off TalkSport, and he put his wrap on a toasty maker. I think before you even look at the contents, the fact that he's put a wrap on a toasty maker should be cause for having his door battered down and like led away in handcuffs.
He's also said a Friday full English wrap for brekkie. Now for a fella of his size, you'd think he'd know his way around the full English.
Yeah.
Apparently his full English wrap is egg, fried, cheese, grated, mushrooms sliced, sweet corn and tuna in a wrap.
I
Yeah.
mean, you'd have me until a sweet corn and tuna part.
Yeah, the rest's all right.
He's just a grim human being.
Yeah. And Rob Gwynedd replied before and just said, love tuna, hate sweet corn, which I think...
Love United, hate bastards.
Right, on then. Random Everton players, the ready. Best ever cup game.
Cracky.
What a shout. Go ahead then. Best ever cup game, mate.
See, I'm going for what was brilliant but also horrifying at the same time was the Fiorentina second leg. And it was a proper Goodison Cup game. It was just absolutely raucous. It was horrible. And then it was great and it was brilliant. And then it was horrible again. It's just so very Everton.
I think that was in the back of everyone's mind the other night, that wasn't it?
Yeah. It's also the Leicester game.
Story this is from?
I don't know. Did we have a cup game in midweek or something?
I think so. I missed it, but yeah.
God, that was a heavy watch, wasn't it? Like I've watched Everton be absolutely terrible and not felt as bad as I did watching Everton win on Wednesday. It was just it took about 5 years off me.
It was tough going, wasn't it? And I think games like Fiorentina were in the back of everyone's mind, whereby, do you know what, we do well up to a point, then we inevitably fuck it up.
Yeah.
Warren, what's yours, mate?
No, I was thinking more non-Everton with this. I remember as a kid growing up and still being quite infatuated with the FA Cup. And there was a game in the early 2000s between Tranmere and Southampton, where Southampton were 3-0 up at half time, and somehow Stuart Barlow Rideout scored the winner, and it brought flooding back memories of mid-90s Everton for me. So but I also remember a game as well where a player signed by Teletext, if you remember Teletext and CFAX, Roy Easton-Dow scored the winner for Wickham. He was on a week-to-week contract and he scored the winner against Leicester, and he was signed, as I say, by Teletext. So they were the two that came to my mind straight off when I thought about cup games, favourite cup games that didn't involve Everton.
Didn't they get to the semi-final that year, Wickham?
They did, yeah. They got knocked out by
Trafford, didn't they? Middlesbrough.
I think they got knocked out by them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Them lot, yeah. But yeah, it was just funny because obviously, you know, Leicester, I think at the time I think they were Premier League, or they were doing all right in the Premier League. And just this randomer scores the winner, and Laurie Sanchez was sent off, and you had to watch it in the tunnel. I don't know if you remember the images of him running off. But yeah, they're the ones, when I think of Everton ones though, I mean, it was a little bit before my first game, but obviously the 4-4. I've got the video VHS somewhere tucked away, the 4-4 at Goodison, before Kenny Dalglish resigns. That game, that was probably the best Everton one anyway.
Imagine how stressful that would have been.
Horrible.
I was thinking how stressful Spurs was. And every one of their goals was a worldie, and all ours were like scuffed in, weren't they?
I think that was a pit. Sorry, go on.
Go on, mate. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it was epitomised by, I think it was the Graham Sharp goal where he sort of rolled on his backside and it just sort of bundled in from like half a yard out. But a goal's a goal, innit? Especially against them.
They all count. Mike?
You know, I was thinking about this, and you talking about the stress of the other night. I genuinely reckon I was less unhappy the night that Spurs beat us, 5-6-2 the other year, when it was just like, we were just miserable. That was fine. Yeah. It was enough. Like, we knew what was what. We knew which way was up. We knew the sky was blue. Miserable. But this, I aged about 25 years. And just ridiculous. It was just terrifying from start to finish. And well done, Everton. Big pat on the back. Now, don't do exactly what is about to be described by my favourite cup game, which was Chelsea on pens.
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea on pens. Like, you don't really need to say much else, because that was a moment. There's so many things about that game.
Everything about that.
Yeah. I was at that game, and it was weird. There was a lad in front of me. He must have only been about 6 or 7. And when they scored, he was crying. And I did that thing of, I've had a few drinks at the time, and I've done that thing. Don't worry, mate, we'll get back into this, not actually believing it. And then Baines steps up and scores that free kick. And it was, you're all going to think I'm weird here, but it was like an out-of-body experience. It was like, oh my God, we've scored. And then, you think, right, come on, we'll finally do this. Hopefully do this on penalties. And big Phil Neville steps up, and you're thinking, no, here we go. But that was a mad game. That was a fun one to be at. Definitely my best away.
The socks.
Yeah.
Also one of the best ever kits, that.
And it was only bettered by going out in the next round.
At home to Reading.
Midweek, Reading.
At home to Championship Reading. That was just so very Everton.
Still don't know how we did that.
That was the one, wasn't it, when Johnny Heitinga... That was the one where Johnny Heitinga attacked Ashley Cole on his way up to take the penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Best thing he ever did in an Everton shirt, that.
Definitely. I think my one's the semi-final against Tottenham. Dead obvious. But an unreal day, that. And also the Gosling one as well.
That's a good show.
Had a cracking night out in town after that as well. It was great.
Good job you ain't watching on ITV though, wasn't it?
TikToks.
Golf course. Right there, the hot topics. On to Ask Us Anything now. We'll kick off with the Ben Godfrey, or the God Benfrey Appreciation Society this week, which is provided by Jonathan God, who asks, should Ben Godfrey be knighted? Mike?
I mean, no. No, shouldn't. Because if he would take the knighthood, he would go down in my estimations.
Yeah. Keep the flag shaggers away from him.
Yeah.
He's out.
Don't take an OBE. Don't take any of that. Don't let them try and own you. No,
just be a horrible centre half for Everton. That'll do for us, won't it?
Yeah. He'd like to think he'd turn it down. Similar note, should Ben Godfrey get America's Presidential Medal of Honor?
No.
Same thing.
I mean, look how becoming the Secretary of Defence ruined Tim Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't great after that call to Obama, was it? It wasn't a few years following that.
Worst thing about that is he had like 11 saves in the game, and 10 of them were straight at his face. Literally, he couldn't have got out of the way to let the ball in.
If Ben Godfrey was a Marvel superhero, which superhero should he be? Keith?
I don't know. I don't know that many Marvel superheroes, to be honest. First thing that come to my mind was Billy Whiz from the Beano, because he's just running everywhere, and they're showing the age here, and my strong Dundonian upbringing as an.
Well, that's where DC Comics was from, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. DC Thompson's was on the Kingsway in Dundee. So yeah, I'm going with Billy Whiz. He's not Marvel, but I don't care. I'm a renegade. I don't play by your rules.
There you go. There are no rules, man. Yeah, I was like Billy Sulfate in the Viz, to be honest. That was a good rip.
I'm going to go with the boring answer, because I'm not a big sort of Marvel superhero type watcher person. I'm just going to say the Hulk, because he's big, got big shoulders, he's broad, he's angry. Sorry, it's a boring answer, but it's the best I can come up with.
First one that came to my mind, to be honest.
Well, it is the Hulk, isn't it? You won't like him when he's angry. He's made of absolute concrete. And if you go anywhere near him, trying to hurt him, you are going to bounce off him about 20 yards the other direction, as Sheffield United found out.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
Yes.
You know what I really like about him, and maybe I'm on my own and thinking this, but I think one of the reasons now why we've got such a terrible record against Liverpool is because I always got the feeling that our players in the mid-2000s wanted to be mates with them, wanted to be mates with Gerrard, wanted to be mates with Carragher. And they hated us. Like, Carragher and Gerrard hated us and they wanted to beat us. I get the feeling with Godfrey, he's nasty, isn't he? He's got a nasty streak, and I get the feeling, as we saw after the Calvert-Lewin equaliser against United, he doesn't care. He just wants to win, and he doesn't care. He doesn't respect anyone. He doesn't care for how good you are, who you are. He just wants to win, and that's what we've missed, I think, for a long time anyway, since probably Kale.
Yeah, definitely. You think if he's in and if Alan's back for the derby, that'll set us up nicely for just a 1-0 defeat, won't it? Obviously, he's not won an Anfield all year. Anyway, we'll touch on that next week probably. On a similar note, Mark Ellison has asked, who's your best movie villain? And he suggests Keyser Soze from The Usual Suspects. It's decent. Mike?
That's a shout.
It's the Kurgan from Highlander. It is. Like, there can only be one. There's just a film. I'm not even going to go on about the Kurgan, but that film, sensational. If you've not watched it in a long time or you've never seen it, go and watch it because it's great.
I've watched it for years, probably since not long after it was out.
It's a brilliant film. Such a good film. And the Kurgan's mean, as most movie villains are, very mean.
Warren?
I'm not a big movie watcher, but there was one film that I watched as a kid which terrified me and satisfied me in equal measure. And the reason why it terrified me was because the villain in that particular movie just never seemed to go away. And that was the T-1000 in Terminator 2. Horrific character to witness as a child, but very good villain, very good movie villain.
Yeah, the bit where he crawls up the back of the car was the bit that got me, I think. Like, you're not getting no chance.
And morphing into the foster parents and killing them, and horrible.
Shout that. Keith?
I'm a massive Star Wars nerd, so I'm going with Darth Vader because he's just, he's probably the best movie villain ever written. I remember I went to see Rogue One in the cinema, and the scene towards the end where it just goes dark and you hear the breathing and then the red lightsaber. Yeah. The whole cinema just like started cheering. It was amazing. It was like proper, like everyone, nobody's seen it coming. Nobody knew what was happening. And it was just, it was brilliant.
Thinking back on that, it's mad that they kept the lid on that because no one knew that he was in the end, did they?
Yeah.
And then the end at the start of A New Hope was just like...
Yeah, such a great film,
Rogue
One. Like for one of the standalones. So I wasn't keen on the other standalones. I didn't think they were that good.
Yeah.
But the end of that one is just special.
Yeah.
There's one thing about the end of that film, and I can never remember if I remember it right. Did they neck at the end of that film?
I think they hug. They hold each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I remember watching it, and I was always left, and that's what I mean. I was always left with this feeling, was like watching it and thinking to myself, good film that. Like, didn't really need to neck at the end of it. And I remember, I think it was my bird turning around to me and going, they didn't. Like, they didn't neck. And I was like, I'm sure they did. I'm really, really sure they did. And
got me questioning it now, but I'm sure they just like hold each other.
Maybe it's left to your interpretation.
It's like the end of Deep Impact, where they just hold each other on the beach.
Fair play.
You go in for the neck, wouldn't you?
Would you?
You've nothing to lose, have you?
Would you really?
How graphic do we want to get here on a Saturday morning?
So you are about to be blown to smithereens. Do you want your last moments on this earth to be outright rejection of you as a personal human being?
Do you know what? It's the one point in my life where it'd be past caring, I think.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to go out on a wet fart of someone basically sort of giving you the giving you the sort of wince as you try to
the awkward turn to one side for the cheek kiss.
Yeah, I don't want the last thing I see with my eyes to be someone physically repulsed by my appearance.
You spend your last 10 seconds like sitting 5 meters apart on the beach, like
yeah, just like that wasn't a good idea, was it? No.
She's on her phone, texting her mate, like fucking tried to neck me there, the prick.
Yeah.
Puts you straight up on social media for the last thing she ever does. Nonsense. Oh, my one anyway was Rutger Hauer in The Hitcher, which is great shout. Excellent film, and also got me thinking to just like off not films, but the best villain I think I've ever seen is Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones. He's absolutely horrific.
Yeah. You hate him, don't you? Like proper despise him every time he's on screen. Yeah. But he does it so well.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah.
Heath Ledger is the Joker as well.
What's that?
Heath Ledger is the Joker.
Yes.
Shout.
Yeah, absolutely nails that. Good question though. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Like that.
Foxy has asked, which current Premier League ref would you most like to take out to dinner, and where would you go? Warren, will come to you first on this.
I mean, it's a bit of a graveyard question, isn't it? Because, I mean, it wouldn't be the first thing you'd want to do is take a Premier League referee. But I'm going to go for Neil Swarbrick because probably not one of the much more well-known Premier League referees, so probably a little bit quieter, wouldn't bother you that much. You could just eat. I mean, there would be possibly awkward silence there now and again because he is probably well less known, but you could have a conversation, I suppose. And I'd probably take him to... probably somewhere like Il Forno in town. I've always been an Il Forno fan, and if you're not going to have good company, you might as well have good food. So I'd go for that.
That's a fair shout. Definitely not a motorway service station on the way back.
No, it's depressing enough having to have a meal with a Premier League referee, let's face it.
Keith?
See, I couldn't tell you who most of them are now. We had this chat about referees in the group chat the other day, and it shocked me how many worldwide referees people actually know. I could probably tell you about 3 or 4 of them at the moment, and that's only because in some capacity they've shafted Everton. So I'm not gonna play by the rules here because I'm a little renegade. I'm gonna go for an ex-Premier League referee, and I'm gonna say Peter Walton for his BT Sports analysis, where every single time he's asked for a decision about a game involving Everton, he gives it the other team every single time without fail. So I'm taking him for a moonlit picnic in the woods. And when he's looking at the stars, I'm going to surreptitiously get a bit of honey on my finger and swipe it on the back of his neck. And then I'm going to say, right, I'm just going to nip back to the car for a minute. He's going to get mauled by a bear.
That seems entirely reasonable. With you on that. Would it be the Czech Toshan bear, do you reckon? I will get that picture.
That's the image. That's the image for the pod.
It's got to
be. Another thing he does as well, he never ever, he always backs the referee, doesn't he? Whenever there's a game. What do you think about that decision, Pete? Well, the referee's made the right decision. It's the right call by. He always does it, and it infuriates me because not every decision is going to be right. Stop backing your mates. I think Neil Swarbrick, I think he'd turn around and he'd have a little pop at him, but not Peter Walton.
Mike?
One thing I do find interesting about referees is referees are localised. We only know English referees. I'm sure the Spanish only know Spanish referees, the Germans only know German referees. Can you name 3 current referees of any other place?
No.
I can't. Couldn't tell you. Just they're so localised, and for a game that's so global, I find that mental. Yeah, ridiculous. Anyway, I'd be taking Craig Pawson out, probably, to be honest with you. The man has a face of a walking apology. So I'd take him to Casa d'Italia in town, where the staff will be just so delightfully rude to him that you just can't help but watch his apology face for 2 hours instead of eating. Excellent. But as well as that, I'd be taking Dermot Gallagher to the original Pogues, to be honest with you, because I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. What was that about?
I'm glad we covered this.
Yeah, we've come around to that.
This is deep state now. He has been a sleeper agent for years.
I have to stick up for Dermot Gallagher a little bit here because, as some of you are well aware in this call, I actually live down south at the moment. I'm a teacher. I work in school, and if I go full-blown Scouse, it's very difficult for them to understand. So I do have to slow it down and talk a little bit posher now and again. And then obviously when I come up and see you lot and I've had a Guinness or I've had a pint, I'm all right, lads, how's it going? You're all right. So I've got a little bit of sympathy.
Warren, go ahead and give us your phone voice.
I'll tell you what, you be a parent that I'm ringing about your child, all right, because your child's being naughty or something, all right, okay.
All right, yeah. All right. Mr. Doyle.
I've got me remote here as my phone, by the way. Here we go.
Right. I'll get my actual phone. Is that Mr. Doyle?
Hello, is that Mr. Roberts?
It is, yeah.
Oh, hi, Mr. Roberts. It's Warren Doyle calling from the Blue Room Academy. I'm just ringing about your son who has recently been put into detention. I'm just want to ring and give you the details about that.
That definitely wasn't him.
Oh, okay. See you later then.
Right,
Apologies
bye.
for the wrong number.
Is that Mr. Doyle, Les? You tell him that our Jimmy's not going to school tomorrow because what he's doing is really inappropriate. Can't be doing any more of that.
We're going to get role play on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, I was worried what sort of a twist that call could have taken, so we just cut it off.
Whose line is it anyway?
I'm still tortured by Jennifer Lawrence, not literally, obviously, you know.
In a metaphorical sausage sense.
Definitely,
yeah,
no metaphorical.
But to be honest, on the Al Gallagher chat, I'm amazed. It's one of them things that you feel like it must be a joke because he has fully John Barrowman the world for a good 20 years. Like, I can't believe it because at least with John Barrowman, that man is. He's an actor, isn't he? He's an actor, singer. His job is to put on voices, pretty much.
Yeah.
Dermot Gallagher's a referee. Like, he's got no time to be mastering, hiding his true accent. And I don't mean like Warren's sort of slightly posher voice that is still obviously Scouse. This is like a completely different voice. This is like he's Wurzel Gummidged his own voice. He's taken the head off and put a different head on.
It wasn't even a twang, was it? It was a thick Dublin Irish accent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair,
it's like you've never Alan Partridge, isn't it?
Yeah. If you've never heard the John Barrowman one, that one will blow your mind because like there's some videos on YouTube of him flowing from like his American accent into his Glasgow accent within a sentence, and it's so weird.
Well, yeah, I thought he was American, and then it was only a couple of months ago I saw him on the telly speaking Scottish. Like, what's this fella on about here?
Yeah.
To be fair though, he's got the American accent down, not like Gerard Butler's version, where it's Scottish, but he sort of makes it faster.
Yeah.
Did anyone watch
his Spartan accent was the best one.
Oh yeah, because he got to actually be Scottish in that one.
Yeah, but he did it in a way that was like, right, I'm Scottish, but I'm also not. So he sort of made himself sound all of his words quite sharp with just the weirdest sort of like sassy tone at the end of every sentence.
It's like he over enunciates every word, and he's like that Cave Solikol on Sky Sports News. That shows all his teeth as he's talking. Proper snarls the camera for every word. Yeah, Cavi, you're just talking about a signing for Brentford, mate. Calm yourself down.
Worst accent's got to go to him off The Boys, the Cockney accent. Have you seen it?
No.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Is it good?
It's decent, actually, yeah. It's about superheroes, which is like an alternative thing where they're all bad shitbags, really, in real life.
I'll do you a worse.
Accents in it. Horrific.
I'll do you a worse Cockney accent. Charlie Hunnam in Green Street.
Oh, yeah. It's terrible.
What is it?
The whole captain in Green Street.
It's like... Well, it is. It's basically a Geordie pretending to be American, pretending to be Cockney.
With Frodo Baggins in the centre of it all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is Green Street the one with Frodo, or was that football?
It is, yeah. Elijah Wood is a football hooligan.
Yeah.
The reach in it.
all the best football films involve West Ham. Have you seen that one with Dave Bautista?
Just about to bring that up.
Stadium hostage. And he's riding a motorbike off them.
What a bizarre film that is.
It's outrageous, isn't it?
That is sensationally bad, which makes it sensationally good.
Yeah.
Are there any actual good films about football?
Mike Bassett's the manager.
Mike Bassett's a good shout.
Yeah.
Mike Bassett.
Yeah.
Goal? Is Goal any good?
Nah, cheesy.
Yeah.
Cheesy. What was the one with when Pele was counted one of his 1,000 goals? What was that film called?
Escape to Victory.
Yeah,
that's a great film. That's a good film.
It's great.
By the way, so go on.
Somehow you had all these like international superstars, and then you had John Wark as well. Switch towns, John Wark.
Hey, Everton's own Sly Stallone saved the penalty though, didn't he?
He did. That was a terrible penalty though. Like any keeper in the world could have saved that.
Spoiler alert.
Of all the people to put in goal, he's about 5'3", isn't he, Stallone?
Yeah. Spoiler alert, the Allies win.
Mike Blakey's asked, how many Gylfi Sigurdssons does it take to change a light bulb? There's a joke in here about pointing, but I can't think of it.
There's 3.
Go ahead.
So there's 1 to hold the light bulb, 1 to stand under it with it on his head and to like spin round and avoid any responsibility for the ball, and a 3rd to point it where it needs to go.
You missed out the 4th one, who's hiding behind the door so no one can see him.
And facing the wrong way. Absolutely bizarre defender.
Honestly, the best, it was the best awful performance I've ever seen.
It was, wasn't it?
It was bizarre, wasn't it?
It was so strange. Because some of the things, God love him, were very, very good. The pass for Bernard, sensational. Little slide ball into Richarlison for the goal, fantastic. But, come on. I'm sorry. I know, I understand if you look at all the stats, he had a really good game and was really important. But at the same time, I never want him to play football for Everton again.
It is one of them where stats lied to us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a pointer and a hider, and stats won't tell you about the pointing and the hiding.
No.
3
assists, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to get that off with one of those penalties soon.
He already has one.
Has he?
Yeah, he missed one at Goodison. Didn't he? Where he did that exact thing and then put in the rebound.
Fulham.
Oh, was that Fulham?
Few seasons back.
Yeah.
Was it Chelsea? Wasn't it Chelsea?
He's done it a couple of times.
I don't think he scored the rebound from the penalty, but he scored about 10 minutes later.
Scored a Wales, he didn't.
An absolute belter from the edge of the box.
Oh, the one where he basically curls it and it's literally doesn't leave the floor.
Yeah.
See, just doesn't tell you the entire story.
He's just an odd player, isn't he? He's a really strange player.
Odd. Stats are meaningless. 75% of people know that.
But
I think if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's that we all really hope that Swansea can come up and save us from this nightmare.
Yeah.
Or Inter Miami or one of them American.
Someone, anyone.
Just take him.
Yeah.
Don't even want a fee, just have him. Stick him in a cardboard box by the roadside, free to a good home.
While he's at the club, he's definitely getting played, isn't he? Because every manager seems to.
Yeah. Carlo likes him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Laura's asked, if animals could talk, which one do you think would be the rudest? Keith.
I don't know. Badgers are a bit aggy, aren't they? They're quite an aggy animal.
Yeah.
I reckon a sloth, even though they've got a big smiley face, if you woke a sloth up, it would probably tell you to fuck off.
I reckon. There's actually a strange law in this country that you're not allowed to wake up a sleeping water vole. It's true.
Well, I'm going to go out later.
Well, I don't know anyone's got to prove that you've done it. But yeah, that's an actual law.
Is that like the posh version of cow tipping, water vole waking?
Must be, yeah.
Tory cow tipping.
Go ahead, Mike. Then what? Actually, at the Badger in Winding the Willows, which is the nicest program ever. He was a bit aggro, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was quite snotty.
Yeah.
Quite short and
Short is the correct. Yeah. So the answer to this is the box jellyfish. Because one, why would you not be an absolute horrible bastard if you were shaped like a box? I mean, come on. Second of all, it's a box jellyfish is the deadly one, innit? It's the one where, like, if you go near it, it lends you.
Apparently, the pain is like nothing else on earth.
Yeah. If I had that ability, I'd be mean to everything. Like, if I knew, if I could literally just touch you on the nose and that's it, you're gone. I'd just be like, I'd say anything, and then go, what are you gonna do? Come on, what are you gonna do? And that's what I imagine a box jellyfish is like. It's just like, go on, give me your worst. I will say anything. You can't come near me, because if I just touch you, that's it. 10 game, mate. And you're in my world here. We're in the sea. You can't even get away properly. See all these flappy bits of me. I can go from A to B to C to D anytime I want. You, mate, you are like a sponge here. This is not your domain. And that's what I imagine a box jellyfish to be like. So I don't think they'd be very nice.
Yeah, and you definitely know this as well, because for a season, you like just sit off about 20 feet off the edge of the beach. So you can't go in the water. So they close the beaches. They just sit off for ages.
Nice.
Go in the water.
That would be the rudest film of Jaws ever. But it wouldn't be called Jaws. What would it be called if it was box jellyfish?
Tentacles.
Corners?
What?
Edges? Edges.
What?
Edges.
I mean, Mike's absolutely right with that answer, but I actually was struggling with this question until about 20 minutes before we went onto this call. I thought, what can I do while I'm waiting? And Sky, I've got Sky, and they have just recently put back on Beehive Bedlam, which was a staple of my youth on the old Sky. And I've been playing Beehive Bedlam while I've been waiting for you lot. And I thought, well, of course, the rudest animal is going to be the bee, because it just bothers you all the time, and it'll annoy you, and it'll buzz all around you. So lazy answer, the bee, but obviously Mike's answer is the box jellyfish is more accurate.
See, if you would have said wasp,
Yeah,
I could fully get on board with it.
Bees are sound, they're just stupid.
Yeah,
bees have got to be really... Do you know what? No, bees aren't stupid. Bees have got to be really clever. Bees have got to know. They've got to know, because if they're uncertain and they sting by mistake, 10 game, mate, that's it. You're done.
Do you know what? I'll change. It was a lazy answer, because, as I say, I'm playing this game here, but I'll change it to a wasp.
Wasp.
I immediately thought penguin. I think that's just purely because of Pingu. And my voice didn't
Not a Pingu fan, Les, no.
Pingu is quite active.
He's just a bit of a knobhead, isn't he?
He's not rude. He's sulky, isn't he? He's a bit of a sulker.
He's Richarlison.
Yes, I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Pingu is Richarlison. He's great, but he's a mardy little bastard.
Having that. Laura, I think we're all waiting for this. The stories from Warren for this one. Catfish.
Yeah, do you know what? I think this sounded more sinister when I posted this reply on Twitter, but it's actually not that much of a sinister story. This happened about, 10 years ago? Basically, let's call this person Mr. X. Mr. X sent me a message on social media, say, old school friend. How are you? How's it going? Fancy meeting up for a pint? I replied, yeah, be great to see you. I haven't seen you for a while, no problem. So I turn up to where the meeting place where we'd arranged to meet, and let's call the second person in the story Steve. And
wait 1 second. So you've got Mr. X and Steve. I just do you know, if you would have said like Chaz and Steve, or Mr. X and Mr. Y,
that's what I was expecting next.
Yeah, I was sat here ready for Mr. Y, to be honest with you.
I just want to protect real names here, so I'm just going as far.
Okay, so we're looking for a Mr. Y.
One of the people that's got
catfished, his surname is Y.
Anyway, as I was saying, I turn up at this place to meet Mr. X.
Yeah.
And this Steve person, who I also went to school with, happened to be at the same place. It's like, oh, hi, Ed, and how are you? I'm supposed to be meeting Mr. X, but, you know, do you want a drink? Get talking. Mr. X never turns up. Anyway, didn't think about it for a while. Thought, oh, maybe something come up. I'll hear from him soon, whatever. Carried on with my life. About 6 weeks later, I'd gone on the same social media platform where I'd arranged to meet Mr. X. Mr. X wasn't my social media friend, but Steve was. I don't know if there was something fishy going on, but I quickly deleted that social media and started up a new one because I was a bit freaked out by it. So it was nothing bad. It was just one of those things, and maybe I made too much of it. But
Steve was Keyser Soze.
Yeah.
And that's the story of how Warren woke up in a bathtub full of ice with one less kidney.
Steve definitely wanted to wear your skin as a suit.
Yeah.
But the point being why I say it's not sinister is because I knew both people. From, and maybe it's just an oversight for me, but it did play on my mind for a while. So it wasn't like I'd turned up and this completely random person was there. But anyway, and I've since never been in touch with Mr. X because I didn't want to obviously say, by the way, did you ever message me and try to meet me one time? Or was it just, yeah,
Steve?
so Steve's gone. Steve's not involved.
Steve's in prison now.
Steve's now Mildred and lives in Ohio.
Under the new name, Mr. X. Keith?
No, not really. Not really had many catfish encounters. I mean, like, unless you count the fact that for years I pretended to be a teenage mutant ninja turtle. I do love a bit of Everton catfish drama because there's not a fan base in the world that seems to get catfished more than our lot, and it's the hungry, thirsty Daz.
There's a lot of thirst, isn't there?
Every single time, and they just go wild for these catfishes.
I think you need to provide a little bit of context there, Keith, just in case people don't know what you're on about.
What's this one for? What context for the
about Everton catfish?
Oh, well, there's what's her name? That Kelly with one L. She does.
There's no way this makes it. You know, you do
No,
know that, don't
we
you?
we better not go into that.
Move on.
I'll make a YouTube couple.
But do you remember Vegas Gal Mary?
There's no way this goes up, by the way.
It's not going on, mate.
The biggest Everton fan ever.
That name rings a bell.
But then, like, just disappeared. She used to do the Follow Fridays and the Blue Mondays, and like lots of Everton accounts. She was great. Then she just disappeared into the ether.
You know when I said ask for context, if you'd have used the names Mr. X and Steve instead of real Twitter names, you would have been all right.
Do you remember Steve?
On Twitter.
Remember Steve on Twitter? Vegas Gal Steve.
Right. Drag us back. Any catfish stories?
Well, hello to all our listeners joining us again after that strange little weird interlude that will no doubt be taken out. I find the idea of catfish is just so strange. Like, I don't understand what the payoff is, unless it's like procuring a massive folder of middle-aged men's genitals on your PC. Then I don't know what the big payoff is. What?
Pay pigs.
Pay pigs.
That's what it's all about.
Do people do that?
Pigs,
like
sugar daddies. Do you not remember there was the massive? This isn't making it either. So I'm just diving right.
Don't say names. Just don't say names.
Don't say names.
Okay, no names. Do you not remember there was like it was probably about.
We don't need to know when it was. Just explain the situation.
And there was just a wave of pay pig accounts appeared, and it was girls calling fellas like dirty bastards, and the fellas would pay them money to do it. And it was just the most bizarre thing ever. But they were everywhere.
Don't know.
Am I the only one that remembers this?
Yeah, because you were probably the only one sending them cash.
Yeah. Oh God, I missed that mortgage I had.
But yeah, it's a mad one, the old catfishing thing. But it's one of them, innit? Like, people don't meet each other in person anymore. Like, No, especially not the last bloody year and a half. But even before then, people just don't meet each other in person. So for like the old weirdies that love having folders and folders of middle-aged men's penises on the PC, then they're absolutely Bruce-teed. That, by the way, is another thing that I don't get. Sending a picture of your genitals, I think, is a bit mad anyway. I think it's an absolutely mental thing because it's out there. Like, if you take a picture of it, it's out there. Like, doesn't matter what it's on, it's out there. Doing that to someone you know, I think, is risky anyway. Doing it to someone you've never, ever seen in your life is an absolutely terrifying thing. That's like going outside and leaving your door unlocked these days.
It's just fraught with danger, isn't it?
It's like people have never heard of screenshot, isn't it?
Like it's absolutely
wasn't that the big thing with Snapchat when it came out? The things would disappear for 9 seconds, but then everyone was like, well, you can just screenshot it.
Yeah. But you still do. It just, the funny thing is, there was a period with Snapchat at the beginning where they brought in a feature where it would tell you if the other person screenshotted. So there was a period when nobody knew this. So you get people having a conversation or sending like pictures of like themselves or whatever, and the other person would screenshot them, and there'd be that awkward thing where it was like, you've just screenshotted that. Like, and the conversation just hits like the ultimate impasse. It's brilliant.
Yeah. The thing about catfishing for me is I can just about be off being myself. So to actually like go into the whole thing of being someone else just to get a rise out of other people, it's a bit mad, isn't it?
I reckon it'd be a bit fun to pretend to be a box jellyfish.
Yeah, they need a voice. They definitely need a voice.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So when there's a pay pig box jellyfish account, we all know where it's come from.
Yeah,
definitely. Jack's asked, final question. Excluding the Crimson Might. Actually, while we're just on that, more names for Big Red that we can broadcast.
House Lannister.
House Lannister's a very good one.
So Spam Ranch.
Spam Ranch. Shelbyville has to be the best one.
Shelbyville's the best one.
Shelbyville's untouchable. I like the Crimson Snide.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
The Mr. Ons.
Mr. Ons.
I like the Mr. Ons.
Yeah. Satan's Lounge Band was a good shout before as well.
Satan's Lounge Band's brilliant. God, I miss Faz. Faz is great.
Right, Jack's
what's the other island on Father Ted?
Rugged Island.
Rugged Island.
Yes.
Winner.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is a shout.
There you go.
Got Rugged Island next week. Haven't definitely. So then, excluding the Crimson Might, an 11 of players you inexplicably despise will be disappointed if a slack defender from the West Mids isn't in every team. He is in my team. So this is sort of a quick return to 11s. So Mike, will come to you first.
Yeah, okay.
Defense.
I mean, I'm going to give you a goalkeeper because I haven't thought about the rest of it yet.
Okay, then. We'll give you keepers first.
Goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer. Manuel Neuer is an incredibly just unlikable for just everything. He just oozes unlikability. There's nothing redeeming about him because he's got nice blonde hair. He's got nice blue eyes. He's quite tall.
He's going with this.
He's good at football and he knows all those things. He knows absolutely all of those things. And he makes it very, very obvious that he knows those things. Yeah. So when bad things happen to Manuel Neuer, like the World Cup when he absolutely imploded, I think it was against South Korea, and it was just dead funny. When he's like caught on the halfway line trying to take on 4 players and gets just the ball nicked off, and that's it. Germany are out. It was fantastic. Love all that. Manuel Neuer, unlikable.
Keith?
I'm going to get some heat for this, but I don't care. I'm just plunging straight in. Rui Patricio.
I know why as well.
Right? Because he wears number 11 in goals. And I know why he does it. And it's very nice that he's done it because he doesn't want the number 1 shirt because the previous fella had cancer and whatnot. Yeah, lovely. Don't wear 11. Wear 13. Wear 20. Wear something else. Don't wear 11. That's a left-winger shirt. You're right, knobhead. Stop it.
You thoughtful knobhead.
This is as bad as Samuel Eto'o playing up front in number 5 Or the fella at Sunderland that wore number 2 while he was up front. What was his name?
Wasn't Guyan, was it?
Yeah, it was. That was him.
Was it him?
Asamoah Gyan.
Yeah.
Asamoah Gyan.
Gyan, yeah.
Gyan. Stars.
Oh, someone watches European.
Marillis.
Warren, keeper.
I originally went for Kepa just because of his behaviour in the League Cup final the other year when he refused to be substituted, but I swapped him out.
No, that was just dead funny.
Well, I did swap him out for someone who was much more despisable for me, and that is Catfish Michael. For his behaviour in the Ranieri episode after they won the league, and just comes across as arrogant.
He's also specifically disliked by the Gladys Street because the season after they won the title, when we beat them 4-2, I think it was, the second half, he was obviously in goal at Gladys Street end. And as he come out for the second half, Gladys Street give him a little clap and he doesn't reciprocate the clap.
Hate it when they do that.
You've got to reciprocate a clap.
Yeah.
We were not a happy bunch that day.
Do you know what else is annoying? He's actually really, really good as well. Which makes it even more. Now he is. He's a good keeper.
He's also like fits into Mike's Manuel Neuer thing in that he's tall, blonde, good looking, and he knows it. He absolutely knows it.
Yeah.
Stick him in the team.
Oh yeah, I've got him there. Defence, Warren.
What do you want here? Do you want the full all 4, or do you just want one at a time?
Give us the 4.
Right, so my right back is El Mohammadi for his, remember when Hull got promoted and while the team were going mad, he decided to do a stupid dance in front of the camera. So he's my right back. My left back is Nacho Monreal, just because in a period when we had Leighton Baines, he was dreadful and winning things for Arsenal. So that annoyed me. And my 2 centre-halves are Marcus Rojo, just because we were linked with him for so long and I didn't want him. And for his constant look of surprise on his face, and not obviously including what he did at Derby, Richard Keogh.
Yeah,
I'm not having the Keogh hate. I am a founder member of the Richard Keogh surprised face fan club.
I'm sorry, but he makes my team.
There's too much comedy value to hate.
Yeah, I mean he was a bit of a knobhead, but yeah, that face you just can't hate that face.
Warren can.
I can.
Go ahead then, Keith, what's yours?
Right, I've got at right back, I've got Kyle Walker because he's just been a tit through the whole of lockdown.
He's gone bald twice.
He's gone. I know, how heavy is that, man?
Yeah.
You fly to Turkey, you get the super deluxe hair transplant, and then you go bald again.
Yeah.
Not like Andros Townsend, whose hairline is now magnificent.
It's crazy.
Outrageous.
Do you know, going bald once, it's heavy enough. Like, when you've done it, yeah, fine, okay. But to do it a second time, oof, that's got to hit hard, that.
Yeah, definitely.
Centre half, Gary Cahill, because he's absolutely robbed a living by being in the right place at the right time. And I didn't have a second centre half because I this was a rush job this morning, but I've thought of one since, and I'm going with Connor Cody. Just because for some reason he is rated by like every pundit in England as this up and coming superstar centre half, and he's crap. He's absolute dog eggs, and I'm not having
dog eggs.
So yeah, he's a centre half, and left back I haven't got anyone because I couldn't think of anyone that came to the same level of hatred as Andy Robbo Robertson.
Yeah,
I used to love at Dundee United, and I was imploring Everton to sign him for like beers, and then he went to the Tin Mine, and his little faux hard man thing that he's got going on, and the fact that they all love him just because he legs it round loads. Yeah, it
was so difficult to try and make a despised team. And I mean, to be honest, Nacho Monreal's all right, but it's so hard to make a team without Andy Robertson in it.
It's hard to pick. Yeah, it's hard to pick a left back that's more despicable than him. So left back's been sent off. Down to 10.
Mike?
Connor Cody's in mine because he's apparently good because he's mates with Jamie Carragher. Just Remember him getting into the team of the year last season, like just mental, like just absolutely mental. Ryan Shawcross next to him,
Ooh.
just the ultimate yard dog. Like, I'm not obviously the old Aaron Ramsey thing. He didn't mean it. He broke his leg. I'm not going to do the Arsenal thing of just booing him relentlessly because he once broke someone's leg. No, not going to have that. But just deeply unlikable. I don't quite know why. He just everything. Even when Marouane Fellaini snidely headbutted him, I hated him because he got caught. Like, if Fellaini wouldn't have got caught, it would have been fine. But it's Ryan Shawcross's fault that he got caught. Like, just, yeah, not a fan of Shawcross. And then I went through 3 at the back, by the way. So my other centre half is Harry Maguire, because he is just a cry arse. He is a cry arse. Like,
proper Gary Cahill vibes about him as well.
Anytime I see United involved in a game and there is a goal scored against them, Harry Maguire is cry-arsing about something. Like, even look at our equaliser the other night. Calvert-Lewin's about 1,000,000 yards offside. The ball hits nowhere near his hand, and he's legging it down the touchline, same as he did the Goodison one the season before, trying to get the late winner called off, and obviously that one worked for him. But this one, there was absolutely nothing he could cry arse about. So yeah, he's a cry arse. Here's me straight to back.
I had Phil Bardsley just because he used to do me head in at Stoke for no particular reason. Harry Maguire, Connor Cody, Ben Chilwell left back, Tory Baines.
Good shout.
Yeah, shout.
So
forgot about Chilwell.
Is there a footballer in the league with a more Tory hairline than Ben Chilwell?
He looks like he's going to
like
stand.
A junior agriculture minister, doesn't he?
He looks like he's going to stand for like Lincolnshire somewhere as the next Tory MP, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. You know, he's going to get that scrumpy sort of complexion when he gets a bit older as well.
Yeah.
Right then, back 4 then. Should we go with Connor Cody?
Yeah.
Harry Maguire or Gary Cahill? I can't decide.
They're pretty much
Richard
the same
Keogh.
person.
What's that?
No Richard Keogh, no.
Got voted out with Richard Keogh, mate.
Go with Maguire just because the fact that Gary Cahill sort of bounced around for like nominal fees left, right and centre, and United paid £80 million.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire.
I'm on board with Maguire and Cody.
Cat.
Hi, Cat.
Should we have... should we just stick Ryan Shawcross right back or something?
Yeah.
El Mohammadi. Got to be El Mohammadi. You got to give me El Mohammadi, surely.
For his little dance, yeah.
Go on then. El Mohammadi. Right midfielders.
I've gone 3 in midfield here, like a classic Carlo formation here.
Go for it.
And the first of my midfielders is going to be your captain, Les. And it's Bruno Fernandes.
Got to be on everyone's.
That face is just horrific. Hell of a footballer, like, don't get me wrong, he is a cracking footballer. But that grid, not even his own ma likes him.
There's something about a talented buck-toothed footballer, isn't there?
Sneering little rat face about him. And
who could forget dear old rat boy?
Yeah. Anytime you see him on the ball, you're just begging somebody to come through the back of him and end his career.
Yeah.
So you don't ever have to see him again. So he's in there. Then you've got English football's current biggest Tory now that Frank Lampard's out of a job, and it's James Ward-Prowse.
Yes, he's in mine as well.
Just because he would definitely vote to stop benefits every single time. And my third midfielder and sort of floating out onto the wing is Jack Harrison at Leeds, because he's got 7 haircuts in one and none of them suit him. He's like it would have been Harvey Elliott if we'd been allowed Big Red, but it's not. It's Jack Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
Pick a haircut and stick with it. So there you go. That's my midfield 3.
So I've got a flat midfield 4, 2 centre mids, 2 wingers. I'll start with my centre mids if I can remember them. I can remember them. Who can forget dear old rat boy Bruno Fernandes is in there, because the amount of stuff he's got away with this year is absolutely ridiculous. It's just, and yeah, he's in there. It's not even close. Next to him is they're not booing at you, Roscoe, because it's big dopey Ross Barkley. Just Any sort of misfortune that befalls Ross Barkley in a footballing sense will always be funny now, forever. On the wing, on the right wing, I'm looking at Son Heung-min because he's not nice. He's a little shitbag, and that's the way it will always be. On the left wing, I've got someone who technically is playing football at the moment, albeit not in a professional sense. He definitely does still take part in Sunday League, so I'm having him anyway. It's David Bentley. David Bentley. The dancing in his kecks, the everything, just absolutely everything about David Bentley was just unlikable.
Totally forgotten about him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Warren?
I've gone for it. Well, I haven't put Bruno Fernandes, but I'm happy to have him in this squad. The reason I didn't go for him is because I thought you three would all obviously pick him. But I've actually gone for a midfield three. Jonjo Shelvey. Yeah. Just because there was this sort of 6 months phase where everyone thought he was good, and he come to Goodison the other week and just absolutely stamped on everyone, didn't do much. My second player is Todd Cantwell, just because he scored against us, but also, again, he was another one. He's great, he's this, he's that, and he's just really frustratingly annoying.
Have you gone to him commenting on every single Ben Godfrey post?
Well, there you go. It's like, be my friend, isn't it?
So with comments that are like, baller team with a flame emoji and stuff like that. And that man he wants a move to Everton, and I don't want that.
I don't want him anywhere near us. No. And my final midfielder, and do you know what? I've probably been a bit harsh with this because he's probably an alright fella, but I think if he wasn't in the Spurs team, he wouldn't even get in the Crystal Palace team. But the fact that he's in Spurs, he's been talked about as an England player, and it's Harry Winks. I think he's bang average.
Also sounds like a pickpocket.
Yeah, it sounds like he should be an Oliver. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that one at Chelsea as well? Isn't it? What's his name? He sounds like a Cockney Barrow boy.
Billy Gilmore.
Billy Gilmore.
Yeah.
The incredibly Scottish Billy Gilmore.
Billy Gilmore. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Harry Winks. I don't mind Harry Winks. I think he's fine, but he looks like someone who dies within the first hour of a First World War film.
But don't you think, Mike, as well?
Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Go on.
I was going to say, don't you think if he was at somewhere like Fulham, he'd be like a Loftus-Cheek where you never hear about him ever again? But because he's at Spurs, he's this brilliant midfielder. I think he's just average at best.
See, I like Loftus-Cheek as well. Like you're not swaying me with your.
But he doesn't, because he's at Fulham. No one talks about him, and this is what I'm saying. I feel this would be if you put someone like. You could put someone like, first name comes to me, at Hammers in the Fulham team, and he instantly improves them. I don't think Winks improves Fulham because I don't think he's that great.
Yeah, fair.
I was going to say, if Harry Winks dies in that World War I film, James Milner makes it to the end, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Biggest World War I face going there.
With his medals.
He's the wise platoon sergeant, isn't he, James Milner, that's like been there and seen it all and done it all.
No, he sacrifices himself for the rest of his platoon at the end of the film by letting the rest of them tuck into his massive spam head.
They also found out the other week that the Reds called him Millie. And
didn't they rip Jesse Lingard for something similar?
J-Lings.
No, he had something fucking Millie. I can't remember. Nah. It was his celebration.
Are you talking about Jesse Lingard doing the Millie Rock dance?
The Millie Rock.
Right, okay. Mike's got this
Millie Rock.
I mean, don't know. Okay.
Yeah,
showing your age there, but carry on.
Take you back to the 1980s. The midfield then, so we've got Bruno Fernandes, Cantwell, yeah. Cantwell. Ward-Prowse, Shelvey, Barkley. Who? Son's got to be in there, right wing.
Yeah, Son's in there.
Yeah. Shall we go with Cantwell and Barkley?
Yeah. I think you've been harsh on David Bentley, to be honest with you.
Cantwell.
I don't think I could cope with David Bentley and Cantwell in the same team at all.
Oh, imagine the lads' holiday there.
Horrible.
As well, him off Leeds with all the haircuts, he'd fit right in there as well.
Yeah, he's on the bench.
Yeah. So then strikers.
I'm fairly confident that when I name my strikers, you'll all go put them in the team because they're that despicable. So I've gone with me 3, and obviously I know we've got a 4-4-2 going on, but you can pick 2 of my 3 because I am that confident. First of all, I've got Ollie McBurney just because he's a massive scruff. Secondly, I mean, just because he's so annoying anyway, but for the haircut alone, he needs to be in this team, and it's Rangers' Alberto Morelos. And the final player, just because he is the Sam Quech of football, the biggest attention seeker in the football world, is Achim Fenway.
Can I go next?
Go on.
What?
I've also got 3. And the main in my 3 is Adebayo Akinfenwa, because, mate, I get it. I get it now. Like, I got it 5 years ago. Just come on. It was
down.
Yeah, it was funny for that one cup game 5 years ago when, you know, you were a big meathead, but being a big meathead 5 years, it's, yeah, fine, great, brilliant, get it. Please just leave the zeitgeist now. Edison Cavani, just, he is. The weird thing with Edison Cavani is that he has the face of a good-looking man stretched over his ugly skeleton. Because, like, if you look at him and you look at his cheekbones are sensational. He's got Gareth Barry cheekbones.
Not Warren Doyle cheekbones.
Not quite, because they're brilliant.
Yeah.
But they are sensational. And the rest of his face isn't. So it's like someone stretched an ugly, like a really good looking face over his ugly grid. And it's sort of worn like a mask and has just sort of morphed, but it's kept the structural integrity of the cheekbones. So that, and the fact that he loves scoring against Everton, and I've always thought he was crap. So all of those things add into Edison Cavani. And I need one more. There's one more that I can't think, but I think I've got it. And it's Oumar Niasse, because I get it. Like, yeah, it was really, really funny when he was crap at football. And I hate the way it's celebrated, where it's like, look at what can happen if you're really crap at football. You can absolutely make it at Everton and score goals and everyone will love you. Just no, leave that alone. Like, Tony Hibbert just about scrapes past with that logic. I can't get on board with Oumar Niasse sucking millions and millions out of the football club for scoring goals off the back of his arse. Not for me.
Fair enough. Keith?
I've also gone for a 3. I'm eliminating one of them because he's playing in Mike's midfield, and it's Son Heung-min.
Yeah, he was a striker with me as well.
I put him up front, but so I'll take him out. So the other 2, I've also gone for Akinfenwa, and my description in my notes was Fat Sam Quech. He gets everywhere in the media because he's a red.
And he's a red. Forgot about that. Yeah.
I reckon that'll get past the centre. Sam Quech in the tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like The Simpsons, where Bart does the "I didn't do it" thing. Yeah. And it's a little bit funny at the start, but we're like 10 years down the line now, and it's just not funny. You've got a fat man on talking nonsense because he was once a fat man that scored a football goal.
I reckon.
Get rid.
I reckon that you get to like the middle of January and that's his Christmas day, when it's like FA Cup 3rd round day.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, I can be relevant again. And he's there like December 26th, like in the gym trying to get as big as possible so he looks more and more ridiculous when he comes on for his sub appearance for FA Cup 3rd round day.
It's like deadline day.
2 minutes.
Deadline day when they wheel out Harry Redknapp, even though he hasn't had a job in 20 years.
He's the new Harry Redknapp. And do you know what other day he also loves as well? The day FIFA comes out, because isn't he like the only League 2 player who's got his own FIFA profile? So that's how everyone knows him. If we were on Dave's Room 101 here, he would be getting lashed raw in the bin. Mm.
Yeah.
Just want to before I go on to my last one, I want to agree with Mike's point on Edison Cavani. And basically, he looks like if you bought a Greek mythical hero off Wish, Edison Cavani would turn up. He has all the attributes to be like this beautiful man, and yet nothing quite sits right. It's like in Men in Black when the alien puts on the human suit skin, and he's like got to pull his face, and that is Edinson Cavani. So yeah, horrible looking human being. My final striker, and if he doesn't get in the team, I'm going to be very disappointed, is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Because he's 40 years old and he's still calling himself a lion. Grow up, mate. Just give it up.
Maybe he's just got severe mental problems.
I don't even think he does. I just think he's a tit.
Nobody ever considers that, where it's like everyone thinks it's all bluster. Maybe he genuinely thinks he's a lion. Like maybe he gets up in the morning, like on all fours, trots over to the mirror, and sees like a lion, like a proper one.
That would explain that outrageous.
He's cutting about his luxury Milan villa on all fours, just doing that slinky little shoulder number that lions do.
Yeah, that's what he does. Where he moves like that. Yeah.
That would explain that outrageous ponytail he had in the Milan derby.
Yeah, just not having him. Not one. Cracking footballer, like very good footballer, and that overhead kick he scored against England from like 40 yards was sensational. But yeah,
for me, the fact that he's a brilliant footballer and has been a brilliant footballer. I mean, how can you have Morelos not in that team not ahead of Zlatan?
Haircut.
For me,
I mean that hair, half shaved, half like.
It's like
what did he call it? Fusey.
That wouldn't even be the worst haircut in the squad.
Do you know the bit on the original Planet of the Apes where it's Charles Heston, isn't it? It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where Charles Heston finds the first one of his mates, the one who's not been stuffed and put in a museum, the other one, and he's like, oh, yeah. And he turns him round and he's got the big scar on his head from where they've like operated on his brain so he can't speak anymore. That's what his haircut's like.
Yeah. Feel the bottom.
He's a horrible player as well, though. He's just nasty and horrible and not very good.
Yeah.
He doesn't acknowledge it. If you let him go in the car, he doesn't acknowledge it either.
Yeah. You know, if you let him out of a junction because he's been waiting for ages, doesn't give you the thank you wave.
No. Not at all.
One thing I've just realised as well: Zlatan Ibrahimovic is Adebayo Akinfenwa, but good at football.
Yeah.
Much. So the striking positions up for debate here now. Kasper Schmeichel in goal, Al Mohammadi right back, Harry Maguire, Conor Cody centre backs, left back Ben Chilwell. Midfield of Bruno Fernandes, Todd Cantwell, Ross Barkley, Heung-min Son. Attackers, Akinfenwa and Cavani or Ibrahimovic. How much do we want to upset Keith here?
Well,
I'd go with Akinfenwa.
I mean, Akinfenwa was in.
Akinfenwa was in.
That, is there?
You can't play him next to Ibrahimovic. The cringe would be too much. So stick Zlatan on the bench and stick on like the Cavani.
I think the descriptions we've had of Cavani definitely mean he's got to go in this team.
I agree.
So that's our Nightmare 11, which I reckon they'd do all right.
Not a bad squad. Just horrible. They'd be the most hated team ever.
It'd be all right if you were playing like a non-league team in the FA Cup third round and Akinfenwa could like bundle one in the last minute.
Right, that is it for this week's mailbag. Bit of a bumper. This I think it was over an hour anyway. Cheers for that, lads. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks to everyone who sent questions in. We will catch you next time on Mailbag.